Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat podcast. It's episode number 76 today, where we're going to be talking about what's gone wrong at RB Leipzig. Now, if you catched our podcast yesterday, we were talking about Union Berlin, their overperformance this season, and more importantly, Geraldo Becker's overperformance. And while we were just scrolling through the Bundesliga, looking through the clubs, we noticed RB Leipzig and Bayer Leverkusen as well. Massive underperformance. The main topic's going to be RB Leipzig. We'll touch on Leverkusen at the end. But yeah, it's all gone wrong in the last sort of 18 months. I want to take us back to the start of last season when Jesse Marsch took over from Julian Nagelsmann, and what a disaster it was at RB Leipzig. Yeah. They had a horrible start to the campaign. Marsch walked out the door very early into the season. Apparently the players just didn't want to work for his system, and it seems to have all gone down from there. Nagelsmann took the tactical direction in a very different way to how Leipzig have played before, and it's not worked. Because it worked under him, but then trying to adapt back to what they were doing before hasn't really worked for them. They've lost players like Timo Werner. I know he's come back now, but they lost him. They lost Delphin Meccano. They lost Nordi Mukiele. They lost captain Marcel Sabitzer. They've lost a lot of big talents there already, and I'm sure there's more that I haven't named there. So they've just lost a lot of big players. The managers have been rolling in and out. I mean, then Tedesco came in. He replaced Marsch. And then he did all right for the end of the season. They got to the semis of the Europa League. He won the DFB Pokal. But now he's been replaced. Tough starts this season. Been replaced again. Marco Rose. Do you think he's the right man to lead Leipzig forward from now?
I never really thought he didn't really do much at Dortmund.
No, but before then he was still a top coach.
He's a good manager. I don't know, it depends. I think he can get Leipzig top. I think he'll get Leipzig Europe maybe, but I don't see anything better than that.
Yeah. The biggest problem for Tedesco at the start of this season was the fact he wanted certain players and Leipzig bought others. He wanted a right-footed centre-back. They brought in a left-footed centre-back in Abdou Diallo. Makes no sense there.
Yeah.
Considering the talent they've got. He wanted a tall striker, mainly Benjamin Sesko. They did agree that deal, but for in a year's time, and instead they brought Timo Werner, who is not tall in the slightest. No. So they just brought in another short striker, another similar profile to Christopher Nkunku, I guess, or a Dani Olmo or Szoboszlai. So no real change there. They brought in David Raum as well, who I think is a good deal in that left wing back role. Did they need him though?
I don't know. There's two things that stand out for me with this Leipzig side, looking at the stats wise, is their form away from home has been shocking.
Yeah.
At home, unbeaten. 2 wins, 1 draw, 7 points. Lovely. Away from home, 1 point. 1 draw, 3 losses. And that's their 8 points. That's not good enough.
No, not really.
And they need to vastly improve their away form if they want to.
That's why they're rooted down in 12th, and to be fair, they would be even lower without the win over Dortmund the other week, which Marco Rose, in his first game against his former side, Borussia Dortmund, managed to pick up a win. So they could be 3 points lower than where they are now if they hadn't made that change. That would put them down in 15th with Leverkusen and joint on points with Stuttgart and Wolfsburg as well.
And you talk about the fact that he wanted Sesko and he won't get Sesko until next year, and they brought in Werner, underperforming their expected goals as a team. Scored 9 goals, expected goals of 10.3. It's not drastic, but you'd like to be on the other side of that 10.3. Especially with one of them coming from penalty, 2 from set pieces, only 6 of them from open play. Yeah, it's not gone well at Leipzig at all this season.
No, and the problem is they've not been bringing through the Salzburg talents. Like, look at what they were doing a few years back. They brought through Keita.
Yeah.
And they brought through they brought through Keita. They brought through who's the other guy? Can't remember now. But they brought through a lot of talents from Salzburg into Leipzig. I think Werner. No, he came from Stuttgart, didn't he? But they brought through a lot of talents. They brought young players in through the system. It worked really well. Now, though, a lot of those talents at Salzburg are getting picked up by other clubs. I mean, Dortmund bought both of Adeyemi and Haaland. Mane, he was picked up by Southampton a few years back from Salzburg, and they've lost Keita and players like that. He went to Liverpool. So they've lost a lot of their talents. I know they've brought in Domenico, and that's
even some we haven't mentioned yet. Tyler Adams, Brian Bobby, Lookman, Angelino, Sorloth.
There's a massive sale.
Mariba.
Massive fire sale.
They've sold so many very, very good players and have replaced them. They haven't. They haven't replaced them. Yeah. I don't see a Tyler Adams replacement in there. I don't see a Brian... Timo Werner, he's not
he's come in 1.60 XG, just one goal to his name so far, so he's not outperforming his XG. I don't know. It seems a little bit all over the place in Leipzig at the moment. I think Marco Rose will work his magic, though. We saw what he managed to do with Borussia Mönchengladbach before he joined Dortmund. They wanted to bring in a sporting director for some time, and it looks like they'll bring in the former Gladbach sporting director. So those two could work together again.
Yeah.
Sporting director of football, similar sort of role. But yeah, Marco Rose, who he used to work with, I think they'll work together well. If they can keep recruiting good young talents at Leipzig, it's going to work well. Eventually, you'd think.
The problem for Leipzig now is that I think Champions League's off the cards.
I don't think they're going to win it, but yeah.
I know they mean top four. I'm qualifying for it. Top four's off the cards.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, though.
Europa League is also off the cards.
I think they could qualify for UCL, though, by getting knocked out of the Champions League groups and then going to win the Europa League and getting UCL qualification.
They're relying on their European success now, because I don't know if they will get Europe.
What, you don't think they'll get top 7?
I look at the team. I look at Berlin, Dortmund, Bayern, Freiburg, Hoffenheim.
I think it's way too early in the season to say that. They're 9 points off top. That's 3 wins, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not...
They could get Europe. I think
drastic.
top 4, no. I think Europe, maybe.
I think it's likely they need to beat Celtic.
Oh yeah, because they've so far
next week. They've not won anything yet, and they've lost. Yeah, they lost to Shakhtar, lost to Real. They have to beat Celtic in the next 2 games. They win those, they should be fine to get 3rd in the group.
They can still get 2nd.
But why would they want to? I know the money's massive for getting into the UCL quarters, but they're not going to go on and win it.
Purposely lose, aren't they?
No, but I think secretly, the guys at the top of Leipzig will be hoping that they can just chill.
Yeah.
Go through in 3rd and be fine.
But I still don't think that's an easy Europa League.
It's not, but it's winnable. Well, you've got Roma in there, who look a little out of form in Serie A.
I think Arsenal.
You've got Arsenal. I think Arsenal, though, will have to focus on the Premier League at some point.
Yeah.
You're telling me they can either win the Europa League or win the Premier League. They're 100% going for the Premier League, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's no way that they prioritise that. With Leipzig, though, they've got nothing to fight for in the league, so they might as well throw all their eggs into the Europa League basket.
Very true, very true.
But yeah, they do have just a plethora of attacking talents, don't they, RB Leipzig? They've got Olmo, they've got Forsberg, they've got Szoboszlai, they've got Poulsen, Silva, Werner, and they've got Nkunku. How do you fit all 7 of those?
Problem.
I mean, they've sold Sorloth now. They've got
so many forwards, but actually nothing in defence.
That's the thing. They have got good defenders. I don't think they know how to piece all this together.
I don't see a Makana replacement there. I don't see a Nordi Mukele replacement in there. They haven't replaced their big star defenders.
No, if we look at how they lined up against Dortmund, it was a 4-2-3-1. I think this could potentially be the best way they do this.
Yeah.
Werner leading the line, Szoboszlai on the left, and Nkunku on the right, Forsberg attacking mid. That doesn't fit Andre Silva in at all, though, or Poulsen, because they're not going to be able to really play that striker role. Like they'll come on and do something. Doesn't fit Olmo in. I guess he can play that attacking mid role, though.
That
looked a little more...
It's not good.
What, like...
Lima and Schlager.
I mean, Schlager, again, is another player that Tedesco didn't want and got. Yeah. But I don't think he's a bad player at all. They lined up with a similar 4-2-3-1 against Mönchengladbach. Andre Silva started instead of Werner this time, and Nkunku switched to the left for Szoboszlai on the right. Forsberg still in that attacking mid role. Completely changed the pivot to Campbell and Haidara.
That's worse than the pivot they had against Dortmund.
And yeah, they got rolled over 3-0 by a very, very strong Gladbach outfit.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at how they made that 4-2-3-1 work a completely different way. They've got some really good talents in that side now. They have Julian Weigl. I didn't even know he'd gone there, but what a signing that is. And yeah, I mean, that's why Gladbach are 6th. That's why Leipzig are 12th. Their 4-2-3-1 just isn't working at the moment. I feel like they're missing Tyler Adams more than people thought.
Yeah.
I think they're definitely not scoring enough at the moment. They're not creating enough either. And they've lost some really big players it's going to make a big difference that they've not got them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think Leipzig will recover. I think Leipzig will get
I think they can.
Champions League.
A team
still.
I don't know if they will recover is Leverkusen.
It's Bayer Leverkusen, of course, where we're going on to now.
I think they're in trouble.
You reckon?
Not of relegation. I think just not going anywhere this
I
season.
think there's a lot of players injured in their team at the moment, which is costing them. Karim Bellarabi, Florian Wirtz, Ezequiel Palacios. I mean, even Amin Adli. All players there that are injured for a few months you've got now.
Again, it's
another...
They're things you've got to anticipate.
But it's another problem with too many attacking talents. Hlozek, Diaby, Schick. I mean, Bellarabi out at the moment, but we'll include him. Florian Wirtz, Callum Hudson-Odoi. How do you fit all of these in? Especially then you've got players like Paulinho, Adli, Azmoun.
Bayern Munich up next.
Again, though, I do think this is a game they can win. I genuinely do. This is a game where they could just nick it.
Yeah.
Potentially.
This is really on the flip side to Leipzig. How I said that Leipzig are great at home, awful away.
Leverkusen love to travel.
Leverkusen, 1 point at home, 4 points away. It's a complete reverse of Leipzig, which is really interesting to me because you don't usually see teams only get 1 point out of a possible 12 at home. Just not something you see.
I'm just looking at their recruitment though, it's a bit strange. They brought in Sardar Azmoun in January on a free. That's fine. Then they went and lost Joel Palo, who Finnish striker, was decent for them. He's now at Venezia. But yeah, they've not really replaced what they lost. And they allowed Baumgartlinger to go out on a free. They've not replaced him. They have only brought in Hlozek and Hudson-Odoi this summer, despite losing so many players.
And they haven't helped their XG problem. I mean, 9 goals from an XG of 11.9.
Lucas Alario's left now, Nadim Amiri. They've not replaced them, really. And Panagitos Retsos, the centre-half who can also play at right-back, he's not been replaced at all. So just a weird window for them.
If I go to a team that got the 3-0 win away at Mainz...
how do they line up there?
I mean, no Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, Frimpong
got a double from right back. They've got a good back two of Jonathan Tah and Tapsoba. Cappy got sent off in that game as well.
Their last 2 results have been good though. You look at a 2-0 win over Atletico Madrid, a 2-2 draw with Hertha and a 1-0 draw with Werder Bremen. Yes, it's not what you want, but they only lost 3-2 to Freiburg as well. They beat Mainz. The club, it's been better over the last few weeks.
And I think I like the Moussa Diaby, Patrick Schick, what's his name, Ezequiel
Palacios. Yeah,
he's good as well.
If he could play middle midfield,
they're down to
but he's still injured at the moment, isn't he, Palacios?
They won 3-0. No, 9 men. Sorry. How bad are Mainz?
Jesus, yeah. I was looking at their champions, the team that beat Atletico Madrid, incredibly strong. Schick led the line, Diaby on the right, Hudson on the left. That's good. Clearly working. And Hlozek in that attacking mid-role.
Big test for them is the Bayern Munich game coming up soon.
And then when they made the changes, they didn't score in that first half, but they made the changes and it worked.
If they get points at Bayern Munich, they can be very happy with that, and that will give them a bit of a boost, and they can start to believe that they might be able to do something this season. But it's going to be very, very tough for them if they plan on doing so. And
Amiri went out on loan, by the way. He wasn't sold, so that's slightly less terrible transfer window.
They need points.
Yeah, he went on loan back half of last year. Yeah, they obviously they do. I think they've looked good in the Champions League though.
Yes,
I think if they could get into the round of 16. I mean, that'd be big for money. At the moment, they're second in the group. They play Porto next. Porto twice next. Group. Yeah, I think this has gone under the radar because people just think, Atleti will win and we don't care who comes second. But Atleti have struggled so far in the group, which makes sense.
Atleti in the Europa
tough
League
teams.
was actually a mental Europa League.
And Bruges have got to play Atleti double next. So I think Leverkusen must beat Porto basically. Yeah. But if they win both of those, they're through. Pretty much 9 points with 2 games to go. If Atleti were to win both of those, they'd be on 9 and Bruges 6. But
I don't see Leverkusen winning Europa League. So I think it's
So
better
it's
for them
better,
to get through.
to get that money for the round of 16. If they were to draw, say, Milan Salzburg could be the top two in that group.
I'm not.
I think a Salzburg or someone like that.
I would cry that out.
Because I guess if they're second though, it's going to be tough. Because they'd have to play someone else who's top.
Well, that could be.
But,
I don't know yet.
I was going to have a quick look at the Champions League, see if there's anyone that they could realistically beat quickly before we round off.
Yeah.
But there's the tables. Napoli they'd lose, Bayern they'd lose, Sporting. That's a winnable game, and you'd like to think they'll top that group now. Potentially, though, Tottenham will come back.
What's going on?
Could be Zagreb, yeah, but I don't think they'll top it.
Shakhtar won't top it. I'm not saying if Leverkusen can top it.
Yeah, maybe they've got a chance.
We never know. Benfica as well. They can get anything.
So basically, if Leverkusen can top that Champions League group, which will be an incredible feat.
Also, if we get
chance
just
going forward.
randomly, if we get Atletico Madrid and Juventus in the Europa League.
Yeah.
And maybe Leipzig.
I think
and
they'll probably
even Chelsea
recover.
at this rate.
Ajax.
Oh my god.
Or Liverpool
wow.
potentially there.
What
Maybe Chelsea as well. Inter Milan. Likely going to be in that Europa League as well. You're going to get either Frankfurt or Tottenham or Marseille in there as well. Celtic or Leipzig will be in that Europa League
Celtic,
as well. Or maybe Shakhtar, which is still a tough team. Sevilla will drop down into that if they can outperform Copenhagen. And then either Juventus or Benfica. So there's could be Maccabi Haifa if they really pick up the performance, and Juve, because if it's Haifa versus Juve next, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if Haifa win both of those, stunning. But yeah, that's about all for today. I think that, Leipzig in a lot of trouble, but I think they'll bring it back. Leverkusen in a lot of trouble equally. They've still got players to come back from injury. I think Florian Wirtz.
Only 7 games in.
Yeah, of course. Florian Wirtz is a big miss.
Yeah.
I think if you bring him back into that attacking mid role, I think he'll make a massive difference, basically. And yeah, I don't think either side have got too much to worry about, despite fears and poor early season performance. I think Leipzig will bring it back. Their project works.
Yeah.
Of just bringing great young talents to Salzburg and then promoting them through the league, even if they aren't able to use that, even if they aren't able to promote them to Leipzig, they can still get the money.
Yeah.
And then use that to buy in more players, extend the whole Red Bull system. I'm surprised they've not branched out yet to another league. If they are, why do you think they're going?
La Liga.
Really?
Yeah.
I think there's only one place that makes sense. That's the Premier League.
Leicester.
Potentially. Red Bull Leicester. Leicester, going to be the theme of tomorrow's video. On the end screen right now, there'll be a link to the Union Berlin video. If you want to go check out episode 75, we talk about Berlin, we talk about the Bundesliga overall. And yeah, episode 77 coming out tomorrow is going to be themed around Leicester. Because we saw Leipzig and went, what's similar? Leicester. Now, they're obviously underperforming as well. Yeah. But save that for tomorrow's pod, so look out for that. But yeah, that is all for today. Thank you all very much for watching and listening. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.